Hi guys, welcome back to the James Bond Show. I'm your host, Krazy Kajeevie, with no fears, limits, or substitutes. And yes, I've got a little guest with me. This guy, I'm sure my regular subscribers know him and have seen him, but he hasn't been back on the James Bond Show for a little while. This is my boy, 00 Scooby. Hello, Scooby. Say hi. This is Scooby, guys, so if you haven't seen him before, he's my beautiful dog, and yes, he is a half silky terrier mixed Pomeranian. So half Pomeranian, silky terrier, and in the comments below, be sure to say hi to Scooby, and let me know if you want Scooby to be regular here on the James Bond Show, my regular co-host. Okay, guys, so what am I doing today? This is 007 things you didn't know about Dr. No. 007 things you didn't know about Dr. No. I'm going to be doing these right through, from Dr. No right through to Spectre, and hopefully one day No Time to Die if it's ever released. Now, people put out videos about 10 things you didn't know, 16 things you didn't know, 10 things you didn't know, blah, blah, blah. And you pretty much always know them. So what I've tried to do here is really find things that you really did not know about Dr. No. And I know I've tested them with Scooby, and I know he didn't know them. So guys, let's get into this. Number one thing you did not know about Dr. No. In the scene where Miss Taro, played by Zena Marshall, spits in James Bond's face, they filmed it about 7 times. Now, Zena Marshall couldn't spit, but Sean Connery as James Bond actually wanted Zena Marshall to really spit in his face. He said, just go for it, just spit. And she told him that she felt terrible about it and didn't want to do it, and he insisted that she spit. So Connery ended up giving her spitting lessons while they're setting up the camera setups and lighting. They'd be off the side and he'd be showing her how to hock a loogie and do a spit. So there you go. That is number one thing you did not know about Dr. No out of the 007 things. Okay, so number 2. Censors were cutting out the James Bond killing Professor Dent scene where Bond shoots him and then shoots him in the back. They thought that it wasn't very, as he said, not being very sporting, as Terence Young said. So Terence Young went to the censorship board, went to see them, and said to them, how dare you? What are you talking about sporting? This man is an evil, as in Dent. This man's a son of a bitch, and if someone came into your home and tried to kill you, then you have every right to do what you want with them. Now, that actually came from a 1974 interview with director Terence Young, who told that story, how he went to the censorship board, blasted them, and told them, well, it's not sportingly someone try and kill you while you're sleeping in a bed, so Bond did what anyone should do, and they let the scene into the film, and the rest is history. So there you go. I think that's a really cool one. Number 3, 003 thing you did not know about Dr. No. Okay, so this is a really interesting one. Now, Ursula Andress, who was born in Bern, Switzerland, and she was half German as well, she went off to live in Rome at the age of about 15 or 16. She took off for Rome. She ended up meeting a lot of film industry people. She ended up being signed up by Paramount, and then I believe it was Columbia Pictures, and she was getting film deals offered to her, like film roles, and she kept kind of turning them down because she wasn't an actress. She wasn't a trained actress. So she ended up having small parts in differing films. But she actually suffered anxiety and nervousness about performing because she knew she wasn't a trained actress. So when she was offered the role of Honey Rider in Dr. No, again, she was still kind of nervous. Now, her husband, John Derek, had sent in a photo of her to Cubby Broccoli. He'd seen it, and it was like her in a wet shirt. Now, they wanted to hire her. But the interesting fact here is, again, she was looking to turn it down. But it was actor Kirk Douglas that was very good friends with Ursula Andress and her husband, John Derek. And Kirk Douglas convinced Ursula Andress not to turn down the role of Honey Rider. And so, again, the rest is history. Isn't that right, Scooby? Okay, guys, the 004 thing you did not know about Dr. No. Okay, so the set where Anthony Dawson, who plays Professor Dent, he goes and picks up the tarantula spider. Now that set was designed by none other than Ken Adam. And the money was incredibly tight. Now at this stage, they'd pretty much run out of production design money, and the production design budget was only, if you would believe this, out of a $900,000 film that ended up being around $1.1 million, was only £15,000 for Ken Adam. Now they originally offered him about between $6,000 and $8,000 for the production design budget, and he said, no, I can't do it for that. I need 20. They gave him 16 and ended up being more close to 220. But what happened is he borderline had no more money for the famous tarantula pickup scene with that beautiful dome, the roof, how it's got the grating across it and it's all sparse. Well, what he did is he spent only 400, legend has it, this came out of Ken Adams' mouth himself, 400, and let me get this right, 479 pounds on that set. Now obviously this was 1962, things were a lot cheaper back then, but imagine what 479 pounds would have been worth back then, because that's what he created that film set out of. Okay guys, so the number 5, so number 5, 005 thing you do not know about Dr. No. Ian Fleming actually wanted his cousin Christopher Lee to play the part of Dr. No. Now there is legend, and it is true, that he eventually asked Noel Coward, and Noel Coward sent Ian Fleming a telegram saying, Doctor, no, 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 with exclamation marks, saying he wouldn't do it. Noel Coward was a neighbour of Ian Fleming. But Fleming's first choice for Dr. No was Christopher Lee. Now, I'm still trying to do research of why Christopher Lee didn't end up doing it. Maybe he was too expensive. Maybe he was too, at that time, known in Hammer horror films as Dracula, etc. I'm not 100% sure, but I'd love to find out why Christopher Lee did not end up playing Dr. No. Now, also Max von Sydow, who ended up playing Ernst Blofeld in the unofficial James Bond film in 1983, Never Say Never Again. Max von Sydow was offered the part of Dr. No as well. He turned it down because he was playing Jesus in the film The Most Famous Story Ever Told. So because he played Jesus, he knocked back the greatest villain since the devil. So there you go, guys. That is number 5. So 00. Hello, buddy. So the 006 thing you did not know about Dr. No. Before Connery was cast, the producers wanted to create hype for the film. So they ran a competition to discover James Bond. So it was a national competition of British people to enter and end up doing a screen test to become James Bond. Now, model, he'd never acted before, sounds a lot like the George Lazenby situation. Peter Anthony sent in photos, etc. He ended up screen testing. Now, Peter Anthony won the competition, but of course the producers actually never planned on using him because of a complete lack of acting ability. And Cubby Broccoli had his eye on Sean Connery. So that was ended up being more of a promotional thing. And I wonder if Peter Anthony ever got anything out of it. At least some kind of, I don't know. Did he ever get a walk-on cameo part? I think he would have been deserving of that. Okay, guys, so I'm at the number 7. The number 7 James Bond fact that you never knew. So, art director Sid Kane, who worked under Ken Adam, his name was left off the credits. And he discovered it, and he's like, wait a minute, my name's left off. Now, basically, they'd run out of money. So Cubby said, look, we can't afford to go back and do all the credits again. So I'm sorry, but, you know, your name's going to be left off it. But what Cubby did is he gave Sid Kane a gold pen, a gold pen memento, basically to pay him off because he couldn't afford to go back and redo the credits. Guys, that is the 7 things you did not know about Dr. No. Now, if you think you've got something really, really juicy that no one's ever heard before, because we hear all sorts of stories and we know most of them, but let us know in the comments below one of your facts, or hey, if you want to give us 007 facts that maybe we don't know about Dr. No, go ahead and do that. Next episode of this will be 007. He's are you right there? Okay, Scooby's taken over the James Bond show. So the next edition will be 007 things you didn't know about from Russia with Love. Till next time, guys, keep on bonding and say hi to Scooby's mum for him.